Hello and welcome back to today's video. In today's video, we are going to understand how to make this particular component by understanding the 2D drawing of it, and basically this is how the component is going to look like. So this is the hair dryer component, okay, or we can see the body of the hair dryer, for which there is a detailed diagram over here. You can even pause the video over here to look at the diagram in detail and try to understand how exactly, if you are going to make it and if you have some experience, how exactly you are going to make it, okay. So let's get started with the video, and in this particular video we are going to be making this particular thing entirely, okay. So let us start by understanding the drawing. Now first of all, we can see over here there are some indications given. Other than the normal dimensions, we have marking like 1, 2, 3 and 4. Basically those are the section markings. We have section 1 of radius 20, we have section 2 of radius 30, we have section number 3 of radius 35, and we have section number 4 of radius 25. And basically this is the first section, this is the second section, this is the third section, and this is the fourth section, and this is basically the location of each section. Now many people, when it is given in this manner, okay, what normally people do is they try to use a through curve command or a swept command in order to create the shape. But we are not going to do that because it's a radius, okay. I'm going to do something different. So starting with an X, we need to start with a new part file first. Now once we have started with a new part file, we need to create a sketch on the top plane. So here I am creating a sketch, okay. Now my sketch will contain certain information like this. So we have a line here, okay, then we have an arc here which is tangential to the line. We will create this fillet at the later time. So we are going to consider there is a corner here, and again there is an arc here, okay. So for creating those things, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with a line. I'm going to create a line like this. Now first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to select this endpoint, and this y-axis I'm going to make it point and curve, okay, and then I'm going to define some dimensions to it. For example, here this one is basically my section number 4. Now section number 4 is of radius 25. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to define this value as 25 because it's a radius. Now next thing what I'm going to do, I'm going to see this dimension over here, that is at section number 3. Now section number 3 is of value 35. So here I'm going to define a radius value of 35. Okay, so this is actually a very easy sketch what we are going to make, and this overall length is of 50. So here I am defining the overall length of 50. So this is my first particular part which is done. Then we need to create this arc, and this will be fairly simple because it is of the same length and the section radius over here is 30. So let us try making that. So for creating that particular part, what we are going to do is we are going to create an arc starting from this point, finishing somewhere over here roughly, and it is tangential. Okay, so we are going to give only 2 dimensions to this one. One is the distance between these 2 points, it's going to be 50 or the same value. Second is the distance from here to the origin, okay, this gap is going to be 30. Then finally what we are going to do is we are going to create the final arc over here, which is going to look somewhat like this. Now in this case, this particular arc, okay, here we already have the dimension. The overall length of this arc is 75, the radius of this particular arc is 125, and the section radius is 20. So here first of all we are going to define the section radius of 20. So that is from here till here. So this gap is of 20. Then we are going to define from here to here the length of 75, and then the radius finally of 125. So this will give me the exact output what has been required for creating this particular diagram. So once all of these is completed, I'll click on finish, okay, and because we are using an X, if I click on revolve, it will actually create a solid body as an output. If I select this as an axis of revolution, so I'm going to revolve this not by 360 but by only 180 degree. If you are not getting a proper revolve, or if you are getting a revolve like this, you can use the flip button over here in order to flip this revolve direction. Now once it is done, I'm going to click OK, and this is how I have made this particular part. Now many of you will try to make this with sweep and other commands, but here this is how simple it is to make this with revolve. Now what I'm going to do next is I'm going to create an edge blend over here as discussed of radius 12, what has been already given over there. So this completes the upper part of my hair dryer. Now let us concentrate on creating this handle, and for creating this handle what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the command called sweep, which we have already learned before. Okay, now to create this particular handle, what we need to do is we need to locate how exactly this handle is created. Now here we have a line, or the length of the entire handle is 105 from the center. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to create a sketch on the top plane, and in this particular sketch I'm going to add a line first. So line will start from here, it will go all the way till here. Then I'm going to add a line next to it. Basically the center point, this point and this point, they are all in the same line. This point and this point is also in the same line. So we know this distance over here is of 15. We know this particular length is of 105. So we have just defined both the values. Next thing what we need to do is we need to define this angle of 82 degrees. Okay, now I don't have a line here, so what will I do is I'll just make a line somewhere over here, okay, connecting the two. I'll make the line to reference and then define the angle over here, that is this line and this line, of 82 degrees. So here I've also defined the angle now. Okay, so already we have this but two lines now, and we also have this angle over here. We now need to define the gap. So the gap over here is going to be 35. So as we have seen the gap, now we are going to define the gap of 35. Now the important part starts. Basically how to create the second guide. So this is going to be the first guide and this one is going to be the second guide. So let us zoom into this area so that you can clearly understand how exactly the second guide is going to get created. Now as you can see, there is a radius of 6, then there is a radius of 4.75, then again there is a radius of 9, and this for this particular radius we exactly know where exactly it is. Radius of 6 is at a height of 25. So let us first make that. So here I'm going to make a circle, okay, and I'm going to make the circle at the height of 25. And if there is a radius of 6, I'm going to give a diameter of 12, so which is similar. Then I'm going to create a next circle over here, which is tangential to this line at least. And then I'm going to make it tangent to this circle as well. So I'm going to make this tangent to this circle. Now here the radius is 4.75, so I'm going to give 4.75 into 2 because I'm entering the diameter. Okay, and finally after this, so this is the first one, then this is the second one. Then after this we have a radius of 9. Radius of 12 is something which I'm going to create at the very end. Okay, not as of now. I'll try to create this radius of 12 as of now. Okay, but this particular radius of 12 we are going to create at the very end. So here we have a radius of 9. So let us try to make that as well. So here I'm going to make a circle again. Again I'm going to make a circle on this particular line. Okay, tangential to this. So this is how it's going to flow, So that is how it's going to flow. So now here the diameter would be 18. That is technically defining the radius of 9. So here I am defining the diameter of 18. Now I'll use the trim tool to get rid of this extra part, this extra part, and this extra part. And there are some more extra part which we need to remove. Okay. Along with that, we also need to get rid of this extra portion of the line, okay, which is present over here and here. So now we have a proper sketch continuing all the way till here. I'll click on the fillet tool. Then we need to create a fillet here of radius 7 and here of radius 12. So let us do that. So here I'm going to create a fillet between these two one, okay, with a radius of 7. So here the fillet radius is 7, and here I'm going to create a fillet radius of 12. My sketching for the guides are done. Now I'm going to click on finish, and this is how my guide sketch is going to look like. Now once the guide sketch is completed, then we need to decide how exactly the section is going to look like. So as we can see, the section radius is going to be 17.5. So let us try to make that as well. So to make the section, I can click on sketch, I can choose on path, and I can select this as my path and make the sketch entirely on this side. Okay, now once I'm making my sketch, I need to just simply create an arc. Okay, and because everything has been defined properly, if I make these 3 points in the same line, I don't even have to define the radius. And if I check the radius, it will be the same value as shown. The diameter of 735, that means there is a radius of 17.5. Okay, so now here I'll click finish. So this particular part is ready. Now what we need to do is we need to go to the surface tab. We need to click on the swept command, and here I'm going to select single curve as my first selection. Then in guide, I'm again going to select tangent curve over here. This is my first guide. Then I'll click on add and tangent curve. This is my second guide. Now here I have to make sure the guide location is set to anywhere along guide. Preserve shape is on, parameters is on. Okay, now the problem here is it is increasing the height as it is going further. So here I'll choose lateral so that the height doesn't increase. Okay, so height remains the same. Now these two bodies are ready, but technically this body is not completely ready. To make it completely ready on this side, what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on curve. I'm going to create a line starting from this point till here. Okay, and then I'm going to use surface. Over here there is a command called bounded plane, and I'm going to select these two things and make it bounded over here. Now once this particular part is done, I'm going to hide all my sketches from the tree, from the history. Now I want to combine these two together. So that is pretty simple. I need to click on Sue, select the two and click OK, and that is already done. And we also need to define a radius here of 8. So let us define that as well. So here I need to define an edge blend of radius 8. So here I'll first give the value of 8, select the edge and click OK. Now handle is completely ready and the body is also completely ready. What we need to do now is we need to get rid of this extra part. To do so, I'm going to use this option called trim and extend. And inside trim and extend, I'll just reset this. I have an option here called make corner. So using make corner, I'm going to select the first face as this. This is the first set of body faces. Then I'm going to select this as a second set of body faces. The result might not be correct, so you can use the flip button here. So this flip button ensures like what part of the body is going to remain. So this flip button is saying either this part of the body will remain or this part. So I want to keep this part, but here it will show me which part of the handle should remain. So this part or that part. So I want to keep this part. So once both the things are defined, I can click OK. Now the benefit of using trim and extend over here is typically when we use trim sheet, it is not sewed together. But now if I use trim and extend make corner command, it will automatically sew it together. Now after we do that, I can simply click on edge blend over here, select this edge and give it a radius of 12. So once the radius of 12 is defined, this is how the entire blower one side body is going to look like. What we can also do is, here they are asking me to provide a uniform thickness to the entire model of 1 mm. So what I can do is, I can simply go to thicken, I can select body faces, I can select this face. Obviously if the value is very high, okay, I should not have done the click now, otherwise it will take a longer time to generate. So here I'll define the thickness of 1 mm. I'll click OK, and now my entire blower is ready. But you can notice the original surface is still there. So what I can do is I can simply go and get rid of that original surface using the delete body tool. For doing that, I need to click on this more option here. In the home tab, I need to click on delete body, select the surface and click OK to get rid of that delete body, to get rid of that solid body or surface body itself. Okay, so this is how you can completely design the outer structure or basically mock-up design of the hair dryer. Okay, so thank you very much for watching. Have a great day.